God bless you, my brothers and sisters. Today, we are continuing in our 40 Days of Decrease series. Today is day 13, and we are fasting from stinginess. Stinginess doesn't typically announce itself as sin. More often, it disguises itself as wisdom, restraint, or responsibility. We tell ourselves that we're just being careful, managing our resources, or protecting what we worked hard to build. But Lent presses us beyond those explanations and asks a more searching question. What happens to our faith when generosity becomes conditional and devotion becomes measured? In seasons of uncertainty, withholding often feels safer than giving. We tighten our grip on time, attention, affection, forgiveness, and resources because scarcity feels closer than abundance. Day 13 invites us to confront that instinct, and it asks whether our love for God and others is shaped more by trust or by fear, more by confidence in God's sufficiency or by anxiety about loss. Stinginess is the habit of withholding what could be freely given. It is generosity governed by calculation. It gives only what feels reasonable, replaceable, or unlikely to cost too much. Spiritually, stinginess is rooted in greed. It is often rooted in fear, fear of regret, vulnerability, fear that generosity will not be reciprocated or valued. But stinginess measures devotion. It asks how much is enough and how little will suffice. It keeps accounts, draws limits, and protects reserves. To fast from stinginess is not to abandon wisdom or responsibility, but to release fear as the guiding force of our decisions. It is to trust that obedience offered freely is never wasted in the economy of God. Our scripture text today is John chapter 14, verses 23 through 31. Jesus says, "If anyone loves me, he will keep my word, and my Father will love him, and we will come to him and make our home with him." Love in Jesus' teaching is not sentimental affection or just verbal allegiance. It is embodied devotion. It's love expressed through obedience that does not calculate cost before responding. The language Jesus uses is deeply relational. God doesn't just visit, he makes his home where love is lived out faithfully. This is not transactional religion, it's covenantal presence. Where love is offered freely, God dwells fully. Jesus then contrasts his gift with the way the world gives. My peace I give to you, not as the world gives, do I give it you. The world gives with conditions, strategically. It gives in ways that preserve advantage. Jesus gives himself entirely, without reserve. Peace flows not from control, but from trust. And throughout Scripture, devotion is often revealed not by words, but by willingness. The difference between measured religion and wholehearted faith is rarely found in doctrine. It's found in posture. Stinginess shrinks the space in which faith can grow because it refuses to risk loss. Yet faith, by its nature, always risks trust. And when devotion is governed by fear, generosity becomes selective. We give when outcomes feel predictable and withdraw when results feel uncertain. And over time, this posture reshapes how we relate to God. We begin to offer God what feels manageable rather than what feels meaningful. Love becomes cautious, obedience becomes negotiated. But love that is constantly measured will never be fully given. Stinginess restricts devotion because it withholds trust. Lavish love, by contrast, reflects confidence in God's sufficiency rather than fear of loss. Stinginess asks, what can I afford to give? Love asks, what does faithfulness require? Lent exposes the subtle ways we protect ourselves from vulnerability by keeping our devotion contained. And so day 13 calls us to open our hands, not recklessly, but trustingly. Lent retrains our instincts around scarcity and abundance. It confronts the assumption that safety comes from holding back rather than trusting God. By fasting stinginess, we learn that faith grows when generosity stretches us beyond comfort. Lent reminds us that God's economy is shaped not by fear, but by provision and presence. And as we loosen our grip on what we hoard, time, attention, affection, resources, we create space for God to dwell more fully in us. Stinginess narrows our spiritual capacity, but generosity enlarges it. And so today's fast invites honest examination. Where do you hesitate to give freely? Where do you offer what is safe rather than what is faithful? This may involve generosity with time, patience, forgiveness, hospitality, encouragement, or even material resources. So today I want you to choose one area where fear has shaped your restraint. Today, practice open handed obedience in that space. Give without calculating return, offer without protecting the outcome, and notice what shifts in your spirit when generosity replaces fear. Here are your reflection questions for today as we wrap up. Where do I tend to measure my devotion instead of offering it freely? What fears keep me from giving with generosity? And how might deeper trust in God shape what I'm willing to give? Well, God bless you, my brothers and sisters. I want to commend you to remain faithful to this series, to take the time to actually read through the scriptures for today and then to pray. God bless you, and we'll see you on day 14.